Hello, everybody. This is Kiara Windrider, and I welcome all of you to another episode of Facebook Live. This is April 6th, 2020, and I'd like to speak today to something that we've all been experiencing or have experienced in the past during these times. Simply fear, panic, unconsciousness. And all of these are linked together somehow. The moment that we step away from recognizing and trusting the truth of who we are. So earlier, remember we had talked about the Inca cosmology or cosmovision, where they saw that there's only one energy that flows through everything in the entire universe. It's not good and bad, it's not right and wrong, it's simply flowing energy, which when resisted and blocked is what they refer to as hucha, which is the cause of all our suffering, all our mistrust, all our fear, everything that we create in order to limit ourselves and to freeze ourselves, to hold ourselves back and to keep ourselves down. So how do we release this hucha? How do we release the fear? How do we release all these layers of conditioning that keep us trapped in the matrix? So there's some very simple practices for doing this which may be relevant in this time. Some of you are familiar with some of this based on workshops that we may have done together. If you've seen some of my books, especially Homo Luminous, it takes some of these practices and puts them out in ways that we can easily understand and work with. So remember we talked about the three worlds. The middle world represents the personal self, the upper world represents the world of spirit, the lower world represents the world of nature. And these worlds are connected through electrical and magnetic forces. These electrical and magnetic forces connect everything to everything in the universe. Is simply the substrate of existence in this physical universe. So when we experience ourselves as limited within the middle world and cut off from our connection with spirit and with nature, that's when we begin to experience a sense of fear, a sense of constriction, a sense of helplessness, purposelessness, or imbalance. And soon as we begin to open up these connections, there's a place where those fears begin to release. The hucha begins to dissolve. Whether we're talking about the physical level, representing illness in the body, or the pranic level, which represents our life force, how much energy we have available to us to be creative, to do our work, to discern for what is true for ourselves or not. And also connecting with our emotional and mental conditioning, our awareness. So as soon as we make that connection between the worlds, that hucha automatically begins to dissolve. We experience more energy, more life force, more connectedness, more balance, more support, more synchronicity working in our lives, and more spiritual sensitivity and awareness. Because as soon as we make that connection, as the doorway is open, we open up to connect with the soul body or the causal body, which is really a natural state. Everything that we experience in our current world, especially when there's so much fear and panic being fed, takes us away from this natural state. It puts us into that herd mentality where we simply take what we receive. We believe what we are told. without questioning, and this needs to be addressed. So in many of my blogs recently, I've been looking at what's happening in the world around us from a multiple of perspectives. You're welcome to go through them. They're posted up on Facebook, and reflect on them, comment on them, take what fits for you, release what doesn't. Collectively, we have been entering into a new vibrational frequencies. Many of you in the past couple of days have been participating in this global meditation, and many of you have written back saying what a profound experience this has been, and how it's actually allowed us to connect with aspects and sources that we have been disconnected from. More insight, more light, more ecstasy, more balance, more peace, more beauty, more of a connectedness between different aspects of a being, connecting the dots to create the big picture. So it's a time that we are collectively awakening. It's a powerful time that we have awaited for a long time. So today what I'd like to do is to continue these practices from the Cuero Inca tradition, and along with the bubble exercise, there's a practice that has to do with transmuting the hucha and experiencing that as Sami. So it's a really magical practice which I don't see in any other tradition. It's really unique to this particular Inca tradition. In fact, the Inca kingdom lasted for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years before written history. And a big aspect of this, and this is before the introduction of duality through the Christian tradition, with the concepts of heaven and hell and sin and evil. So before all this, there was a practice that was done every year where the hucha, collective hucha, was gathered in from the four corners of the kingdom, brought into the Temple of the Sun in Cusco, Peru, and transmuted. And this practice of transmutation was essential in terms of creating a balance and holding that balance. And it's a simple practice that we can each do for ourselves and for the people around us, for the world around us. And I'll describe how this works. So the first thing is to simply open this window. So you're opening the doorway between the worlds. You connect with the bubble, you open the doorway, you receive the electrical forces moving down from the cosmos. Then there's a response from Mother Earth. Magnetic forces move upwards, back to the sky. And then, once you're in this connectedness, once the doorways between the worlds are open, there's a center called the Koskonavi. It's just below the navel, maybe 2 fingers below the navel, 2 fingers within the body. It's the center that in the Chinese tradition is called the Dantian, in the Japanese tradition is the Hara, in the Indian tradition is the sacral chakra. In these traditions, it has different purposes and is used for different, to develop certain skills. In the Cuero tradition, it has a distinct function which is quite different, and this has to do with the transmutation of hucha into Sami, the transmutation of energies that have been blocked into energies that are once again flowing like a mountain stream. So what you do, you simply, just like you open the window up here, you open the window at the Koskonavi, and as you open that window, you're inviting hucha to enter through that Koskonavi where it can be transmuted. And whatever cannot be transmuted directly within the Koskonavi is received by Mother Earth, transmuted within the earth, and then released out through the heart. So the Koskonavi and the Sonkonavi, the heart center, are like connected together. So this is the process of transmutation, receiving Hucha and releasing back Sami. So taking in the energies that are blocked, freeing them up, and releasing them back out to the world. Whether it's specific individuals, whether it's collective humanity, whether it's to Gaia for her renewal and rebirth. So it's a simple practice. The moment you think in terms of duality, this practice becomes impossible. Because you're not taking in negative energy. If you think you're taking in negative energy, you will immediately stop the process, because that's not what we're here for. We're not here to, masochistically take in something that's harmful. We have managed to do that in many situations, and this is the cause of much of our codependency and denial and fear. But in this case, what we're doing is taking in energies that are simply blocked, and then transmuting them energetically and sending them back out as Sami, as energies that are in flow. So let me just do a quick example here. So all of you who are watching and listening, open the bubble first. Just connect with your window, with your bubble, extending 2 meters out. You connect with the window, you open that window now, as wide as you can. You're feeling the descent of these electrical forces. Followed by the ascent of the magnetic forces. And all you're consciously doing is keeping that window open as wide as you can. Alright, so now the doorways between the worlds are open. So at this point, you're operating from a space beyond duality. You're not stuck within the matrix of right and wrong, good and bad, energies that can hurt you, or fear that can suppress your spirit. So at this point you become a transmuter. So now connect with the Koskonavi, this center just below the navel, and open that space. So it's like another window, and you open this now as wide as you can. And the intention there is simply to receive whatever hucha there is in your space. It could be from the people around you, it could be from the collective field around you, or the entire field of humanity. However far out you're willing to, able to extend. So once the doorways are open, the bubble expands. The bubble expands so you can become one with these unified fields around you. And then you open that Koskonavi and begin to transmute the hucha within this field. So at this point, imagine that you're dealing with this collective hucha around the coronavirus. which I see as a field that represents our suppressed layers of fear. Fears having to do with personal survival, fears that keep us in states of domination, greed, aggression, violence. Fears that have led to an economic system that's inequitable, hierarchical, and top-heavy. Same with our political systems, our social, educational systems. And so we just open ourselves to transmute these collective energies of Hucha, release these fields of duality and separation. And the Koskonavi receives the Hucha, transmutes it directly. You find that as you expand to larger fields of Hucha, that you may need some help. So at that point, the Hucha that you take in from the Koskonavi goes down to the earth. Mother Earth transmutes it into Sami, into flowing energy. This is her gift to us. She's always processing, transmuting. It's like compost. And then sending her light, her love, her unified light up through our bodies and then out through the heart into the collective field of humanity. We don't have to worry at this point about other forms of creation in life. The Quero people say that humans are the only ones on this planet that create Hucha. It's our unique distinction. Other species are simply in a flow of trust. But they're not questioning, they're not blocking, they're not inhibiting these flows of energy. So just keep that Koskonavi open, allowing this transmutation to continue. Notice for each one of you what's going on in your bodies as the Hucha is being cleared and released. Notice the changes in vibrational states. You might find that occasionally these emotions or memories come up to the surface where they haven't been seen, where they've been suppressed or ignored or denied. And as they come up in these waves of stuck energy in the process of releasing memories, maybe emotions that may be out of control for a brief moment. As the Hucha comes up, you might also experience some sensations within the physical body that can be sometimes a bit uncomfortable. Nothing to be afraid of, just sometimes a little bit uncomfortable until the energy frees up as those energies release, and then there's more light that can flow through. This is the nature of change, the nature of growth and evolution. As more light comes through, darkness releases. As darkness releases, it comes up temporarily as miasms, and as it releases, there's room for more light. So rather than seeing light and dark as opposites, they're simply both sides of a single coin. And this is what we're doing now. We're transmuting darkness into light, or rather transmuting Hucha into Sami. So all of you who are watching this, who know this practice, just open your Koskonawi on behalf of the collective here, all those who are watching, and the entire human species. So we are reaching out into all these places of power. Our political, economic leaders, our business, corporate leaders, places where that power has been misused. We're just inviting a release of Hucha. We're inviting freedom and sovereignty for all beings, all creatures. For many of you, this past day or two may have been very significant. In fact, the past month or two has been very significant. It's the cocooning process, as we have spoken about. And during this cocooning, we are opening up in new ways to new energies, releasing old energies, old fears, connecting with aspects of ourselves that we have forgotten, that we've ignored. So as the personal aspects of our being and the universal aspects of our being come together, we suddenly become much more open. We connect with our life purpose in new ways. We receive guidance and direction for the next steps in our lives. Many of us who have been sitting on the fence regarding world events are taking a stance, making a choice. Especially when it comes to technologies that have been harmful, that have been hurtful for us humans as well as to other species, for the earth herself. I've been speaking about this in several of my blog series, and I'd welcome your own thoughts and your own insights into all of this. I would welcome your experiences in the past few days and weeks and months as you receive more and more of these unified fields of light, as you begin to connect more and more with the truth of who you are. So, as you continue to keep that window open, the window above your head, as well as the Koskonawi, notice how you begin to release your fixed boundaries, your fixed ideas and beliefs, and begin to open to something vaster, something more comprehensive. You connect with subtler layers of the self. you begin to expand out further and further out to the boundaries of the earth and beyond. Embracing the earth and everything beyond. And then transmuting the energies of fear, of separation and duality. That have been permeating our human collective field for generations, for thousands of years of human history. It's such a powerful moment. Become aware of your own power, your own beauty, your own vastness, your own light. You are light. You are love. You are infinite consciousness. And as that bubble continues to expand, you enter into that field of unified consciousness, experiencing it as a living presence within every cell of your body. And also within the collective body. This is how we can help to transmute the collective. Hucha, as the shamans saw it, was not something personal. It's not my hucha or someone else's hucha. Hucha is simply blocked energy that we all inherit. And so as we release it in one part of the field, we have to release it everywhere. So continue in this field of unified oneness for as long as you wish. Continue to work with the Koskonawi if you feel comfortable with that. I describe this more in my book Homo Luminous and also in some of the YouTube videos. Check out my website for other information too. Once we connect with who we truly are as energetic beings, once we bring these forces together and unify these bodies, unify these different levels of the mind, transformation can happen very quickly and very easily. It doesn't have to be a struggle, it doesn't have to take forever. And this is why we're here on this earth. We're here to support each other as a collective, and in this combined collective energy to invite the great shift. The shift happens first on invisible levels and then filters down to the physical levels. What we're doing now is creating a very, very profound layer, a force field within and around the earth, within which shift can happen easily and powerfully. Thank you all for being here, for being part of this awakening. And we'll continue working with different practices as we go along. So we'll be gathering on Facebook Live Monday, Wednesday and Saturday at the same time, which is 9 a.m. European time or 8 a.m. Greenwich time. You can translate that to your own time zones. So thank you for participating. Thank you for claiming the truth of who we are. Shine on. Blessings and love.